throat's gone a little bit already with the air conditioning here.
Oh my God, we hate that light. It's going to be a good day, Raquel. Every time something goes wrong today, we're like, it's going to be a good day. It's gonna. No, we got to start saying it differently. It's a great day. Not it's gonna.
It's a great day.
It's a great day. Okay. Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with the one and only Ricky Hatton. Ricky, how does it feel to be back here in Las Vegas?
Brilliant. It was my second home for a short period of time a few years back. But no, when I first walked through the MGM door, I always get a little bit emotional, of all the good times that happened here, and I wish I could turn them clocks back, but obviously that can't happen now. But what better way to come back, on this journey of Tyson Fury, it's not really a comeback, he's there now, isn't he? But to come back to Vegas and be in the corner of my mate, and the best heavyweight in the world, I believe now, and it's wonderful, some great memories we had here.
What's it been like for you on this journey with Tyson?
It's been a very emotional one because, before I've known Tyson years, but I knew what place Tyson was in before he even made the comeback, before you all saw him. And I was generally worried for his health. He was doing certain things and in such a weight. I was more of he was talking about comeback. I was more worried for his health than anything as a friend. But to see him where he was and where he is today, I couldn't be any more prouder than him. And to see him perform in what he's done, and not just performing in the ring and in the gym and in the ring, Michelle, I was doing what he's doing out of it now. It was a few years ago when he was in such a bad place, he didn't have a good word to say about anything or anyone. And I don't think he had the fan base back then. I think he had more haters than followers. But now, because you're starting to see the real Tyson Fury, because he's got through his bad times, he's not just doing the business in the ring, he's doing it out of the ring. And I think it won't be long before, if he impresses and keeps doing what he's doing in and out of the ring, before he starts bringing even bigger following, similar following to what I had to Vegas. Because, he's a people's person, and he's showing that now.
It's very similar to like when you would be walking through the corridors and you were getting mobbed by fans. Now they're screaming, like it's not just Ricky Hatton they're screaming, now they're screaming Tyson Fury. When you see that, it's got to give you chills. It's got to be like amazing to see it.
Well, the fans followed me because I'd like to think, because he had a good style. Tyson's got a good style, which is the opposite to mine, but he has got a good style. They see he's a genuine person, and people followed me because I think they saw that nothing was scripted about me. Yeah. What I said, what I did, I did.
You're still that way.
Never argued about, I go for the pint, I put weight on, I eat pies, I do this, do that. And it was nothing was never scripted. And I think they're seeing that genuine side of Tyson now, where they didn't a few years ago. They thought, he's not got a good word to say about anyone. This is all scripted. Now you're seeing the real man. And I think that's why, kids wouldn't have gone up to Tyson a few years ago. Oh, hi, Tyson. They are now, and it's so nice, to see as his mate that people are seeing the real Tyson, the real man. You spent a lot of time with him, haven't you, Michelle, doing the sportsman's dinners up and down the country. What he's doing with him, he's the real deal, isn't he? He's a good guy.
What you see is exactly what you get from him. There's no show to it. He's like any person. You know when to turn it on and you know when to turn it off. And it's just, he's very much 100% authentically himself. And I think that's what makes fans love you and makes fans love Tyson as well, because I think that they feel that they can relate to you guys.
Absolutely, and he's doing it in the ring now, to be honest with you. And because he's doing it in a ring, more people are watching on the TV, and that's why, because he's performing in the ring, that's why he's been able to do a better job out of the ring, because more and more people are watching his fights, more than me, and he's saying the right things now in interviews where he wasn't. So his fan base is growing more and more, and I couldn't be happy for him. He's got a tricky fight with Shorts. What with the poor sad upset that we had with Anthony Joshua the last week, couldn't have come at a better time for Tyson, if you like, in the sense that we feel sorry that Anthony lost these titles, but Tyson must take something from that fight. No, he can't take his eye off the ball, you know what I mean? He's got to be fully focused, because this is like a routine fight, if you like, for him. And sometimes if you take your eye off the ball, it can all go tits up, as they say. So
is that what you think happened with Joshua? Do you think that he didn't take Ruiz as seriously as maybe he would have taken Big Baby Miller or Wilder?
I don't know. I think maybe because he's been looking so good and winning fights so comfortably, and this was seen as another routine defence. He was winning comfortably and he knocked Ruiz down. But then when he, them Ruiz types, you know what I mean, when them Mexican Ruiz types, they're more dangerous when they're hurt. And I think he should have maybe, instead of knocking him down and going in for the kill, I think maybe he should have thought, listen, this little Mexican, this little fella here is going to need a little bit more softening up than just so that. So I think if he'd have gone on his jab a little bit more after knocking him down, broke him apart a little bit and then stopped him a few rounds after, I think he'd have been able to do that. But he just took his eye off the ball, that little bit of lapse of concentration, because he thought he had the better of the man. And listen, he won't be the first and he won't be the last, to have done that. But I think the sooner he can get back on that horse, get the rematch with Ruiz and get back in the mix, I think he'll be better for it, because he's Olympic champion, world champion. He's been knocked down before, he's got up. If anybody has the mental strength to come back and do it, I think he can, and I certainly hope he does.
Most fighters, unless you're like a Floyd Mayweather, most fighters lose at some point in their careers. That's what happens when you're facing top-level opposition. But it seems as though that nowadays, and maybe I'm wrong, but nowadays it seems as though if you lose one fight, you should retire. Everybody turns against you. You should retire. You've never been that good. They're quick to become critics. What do you make of the backlash now that Joshua is receiving?
Well, I just think that's always the case. He should retire. Poor Robert McCracken's getting a little bit. They always say you should retire or you should change trainers is another one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Why would Robert McCracken's done a great job with Anthony Joshua? Why would Anthony want to leave Robert? You know what I mean? If you're coming back from your first knockout defeat, you want someone with you in your corner who's been there from day one. Who knows you better? Who knows Anthony better than Robert McCracken? Do you know what I mean? So I think I don't think Anthony's already got a legacy. He's already made a legacy with being Olympic champion and world heavyweight champion. But greatness is made in fighters by coming back from defeat. You find out we're all great when you're winning and everything's rolling along great and you're performing and you're winning. And then when you get beat, it's how you bounce back from your feet, where people stand up and look at the kudos that Anthony would get and the more respect he would get in the fight game if he got straight in, boxed Ruiz again and knocked him out. I mean, that's the way to do it, not telling him to retire, do you know what I mean? But your reputation is made on coming back from defeats such as Anthony's found himself with now. And he'll come back and his legacy will be even better in years to come through doing that. So I don't think he should retire. I think he should ignore all them, stay with Robert, get back on that train and get your belts back. I think he will.
You're training Nathan Gorman, who will be going in with Daniel Dubois. Let's talk a bit about that. How has Nathan been and how is training coming along?
He's coming along great, to be honest with you. He's like about 5 weeks out. He's never looked better. He's got a little bee in his bonnet and everything. I don't know what him and Daniel fell out with when they were on the GB squad. But they don't get on. They don't really like each other. And he seems to be a little bit of nastiness in Nathan that I haven't seen in any of his other fights. And a lot of people have mentioned about Nathan's hand speed and his boxing ability and his boxing brain. That sets him apart. That does set him apart. But I think the opposition they're preparing for that, and rightly so, because those are his best attributes. But he's a Gorman. He's a travelling lad. He's a Gorman. It's in his blood. He can be nasty. He can. If they think he's going to go and jab and move and tiptoe away, no, he's going to do that. But he's going to sit in the pocket. He's going to fight as well, and he can do that. And because I've seen it firsthand in the gym, but I don't think anyone else has yet. I mean, he's just been too good ability-wise for everyone. He's not had to show his nastiness. He only did once against Sean Turner, because Sean Turner, big sexy, gave him a bit of stick, and he stood with Sean, and he gave it him. And I think people are going to surprise. I think they just think he's a nice kid with fast hands, and he's not. He's the full package, and he's going to have to show it about against Daniel, because them fast hands won't be enough. He's got to have the other thing behind the flurries.
Some people were saying that maybe the fight was a bit too soon in their careers. What do you think?
No, I think, a few years ago, when they used to build a fight up, I think that was you know, used to build a fight. We used to take 2 or 3 years to build a fight. I think them days are gone. I think the best want to fight each other more now. I think the TV demands it more now. And I think, you know, if so many fighters out there, Dillian White, he got beat by Joshua, come back even better. A defeat shows that your career's not over. You know what I mean? You know, Dillian's come back on the verge of a world title shot now, and rightly so. Anthony Crolla lost to Debbie Matthews for the British title, come back, become a world title, fought Lomachenko. Do you know what I mean? One defeat doesn't matter, and more so in the British heavyweight scene now. One defeat, you know, he could get beat by Nathan, and then he could go. Daniel could go. I'm talking about Daniel and Nathan. You know, they could lose that fight, go up and fight Derek Chisora back in the mix, or Dave Allen or back in the mix and that. So it doesn't mean they're over. You've just got to stay level-headed, focus, never lose sight of your dreams. And you've got to do a little bit, you know, what Anthony's got to do now. You know what I mean? He's not going to, you know, one defeat doesn't mean nothing. One defeat, if you come back from that defeat, you get more respect. And I think that's boxing in general now. I think there's a lot more. You can fight early, but there'll still be opportunities for you if you put in good performances and you're exciting to watch. I think a defeat doesn't mean the end of a career now.
I often say that it has nothing to do with losing; it's how you lose. Exactly. If you put on a good show, people are still going to want to see you back in the ring.
Well, you know, if this is a, you know, him and Daniel, I think it'll be a barnstormer fight, and whoever gets beat, you're not telling me if it's a barnstormer fight and a toe-to-toe war. Whoever gets beat, you're not telling me the fans won't want to see him again. Yeah. No, so. You know, it is what it is. I think boxing has changed. Years ago, you know, you used to have like 30 fights before you fought for the British title. Now, you know, you can fight for the British title in 10 fights or 12 fights. It's just, you know, but you've got to move with the times, and that's the way boxing is nowadays.
And lastly, I want to ask you, if there's anything that you could do over again in your career, if you could go back and change something, would there be anything? I
don't think I'd change anything. I think as I'm a trainer now, I tell my fighters, you know, to look after themselves and don't put as much weight on as I did and still do. But I wouldn't change that for the world, because I put weight on, and I had a pie and they had a pint and all these. I go in the pub playing darts and I'd be on the kippax eating a pie and a bottle, because I did all these things. I think because it was no difference to what the man in the crowd did, and I think that's why I had the following, because people like me for me and they like my style. So I wouldn't change that for the world. But now I'm trying to pass on my knowledge. I don't want any of my fighters doing what I did, because, you know, I could have probably performed it better than he even did. I probably could have gone on for a few more years longer if I'd have looked after myself a little bit better. But if you're asking would I change anything, not for the world. You know, people. I've only been here a day and they still talk about my fights here, and the crowd's coming and that. So, and that was because I was a fan favourite, you know.
The MGM ran out of beer.
Yeah.
I mean, let's really think about that.
I was in training, and I wasn't even in the bars. But no, it's brilliant. And I walk through the casino now, and croupiers still go, you know, there's only one Ricky Hatton. That's over 10 years ago. So would I change anything? I don't think I could change too much.
You're happy?
Absolutely.
All right, Ricky, thank you so much for your time. I always appreciate you. And we'll talk to you post-fight. Fury Schwartz. It's taking place this weekend, June the 15th, live on ESPN Plus and BT Sport in the UK. All right, bye, Fight fans.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button so you can get notified every time we upload a new video. And we also have a free app available on iTunes and Google Play. So make sure you go and download that. Bye, Fight fans.